Good morning. Craig and I got home from a 5-day trip last night, and I'm going to do a quick trip down to the garden and around the yard to see what the damage is. It's July, it's hot, it's been a wet season, and so being away for a few days, there can be some problems that come up in the garden. We'll go down and see if it needs some water, if it needs some help, and if anything bad happened while we were gone. So let's start up here on the deck. I did come out here last night when we got home because it was easy, and I just gave these plants some water and they're looking pretty good. So these are the ones that I just up potted a few days ago. This one maybe a week or two ago, and they're looking really good and I'm happy with them. I see that our bird feeders are all empty, so we want to get our little birdies fed. This plant is a sunflower that had some damage on its stem. We started it from seed. Molly planted it, and when I went to plant it in the ground, I just didn't want to plant it because I didn't think it would survive. So I just put it in a pot to see how it would do, and it's doing really well. So I want to move this to the ground, but when we came home last night, this was just absolutely drooped down to stem and just floppy leaves. So I gave it some water, and it looks pretty good. My little planters here not doing so good. We got some yellowing here and all of this stuff. These plants are already going to flower, so they're not going to do me any good anyways for herbs. I think they're parsley or cilantro. It's hard to tell at this point. And then these are doing okay, so I might just come in and prune these up. Looks like this one's flowering, so I'll come in and cut those flowers off. This little flower bed was doing really poorly when we got home, but I gave it a little drink of water, and it's looking really beautiful right now. Let's see. These little seedlings I've been growing for a few weeks now, and I took them inside during our trip because when they're seedlings and they're just in those little pots or cells, they dry up really quickly, and especially in the sun, I mean, they would have been just fried. So I took all of these plants into the house. I didn't put them on grow lights, partially for the same reason. We were going to be gone a few days, and the grow lights would have dried them out too. So I put them just on the kitchen table, and I just want to make sure that they continued to have water, and they did. But these are zinnias. They were only about this high when I left, and now they're tall and leggy, and they really look like they're not very happy about not having the sunlight. So I don't know what the trade-off is. Should I have put them under the grow lights and risk them drying out, or did I do the right thing bringing them in the house? Or I don't know, but I think they're going to be fine, but they're not very pretty, and they're leggy, and they're not very happy. You can see their leaves are just kind of not doing well here. I think these are poppies. They weren't doing well at all, but I mean, the one thing about not having a lot of sunlight is they grew really fast. They didn't grow well, but they grew really fast and got tall. This is a weed. I don't know how the weed got in there. These are peppers. I might as well throw these out. They're not gonna be ready to produce for me at all this year, so they're not gonna do any good. But these are my nasturtium, and they also were only, about this high when I took them in, and now you can see their stems are just pale and long and leggy, and they're just really not happy. So again, these plants get leggy like this. I think they're gonna be fine. I'll keep them out in the sun now, and they'll be happy, and hopefully I'll get them in the ground soon. And these ground cherries too, same thing. They were only an inch or so high when we left, and they just stretched their little legs up as high as they could go to try to get some sun while we were gone. And so they they grew a ton, but it's not good, healthy growth. So these will need to go in the ground soon too, and just make sure that they get some sun. And my basil needs to be pruned here and get up potted soon too. So the good thing is everything survived. The maybe not so good thing is they get leggy and not very healthy. So we'll keep them out here in the sun today. And luckily we have overcast skies today. I think we're expecting some rain, maybe some storms. So I might need to bring these in, but get them out here in the overcast skies. They'll really acclimate them to being outside again. Let's go down and see the yard. These 2 rows of experimental tomatoes are doing okay. I mean, they're not great, but that's okay. I knew they wouldn't be. This makes me sad. This is a patch of our lawn that was killed off by Molly's kiddie pool last year, and we reseeded it. I didn't pull any of the weeds out because I didn't want to damage the grass seedlings when I pulled them, so I figured I'll let the grass grow in and I'll deal with the weeds later. But it looks like it got hot enough that this dried out completely in many of these spots. You can see how nicely this new grass was coming in though. We were really impressed by the grass seed we bought this time, but must have got hot and dry here because this just is absolutely fried. So here's the garden. It's looking nice and full and lush. It's not wilting over. Oh, look at our little friend. This is sad. This is my hollyhock that I had test transplanted. It wasn't happy when I transplanted it, but it had started to perk up a little bit and started to flower, and it must have dried out or something while we were gone because it's toast. I don't think this is coming back. But look at all the flowers on these pumpkins. This is just so beautiful. Oh, look at it's coming up here too. This is a pumpkin starting to climb up my trellis. A few days can mean you come back to a lot of work, a lot of damage. Yeah, these plants are all dried out. But the other thing that I think is really cool is you come back and see just the immense growth, and you really get an idea for how fast your garden can grow when you take a couple days when you're not looking at it. So when I'm looking at my tomatoes or my garden every single day, it's hard to tell how much is growing. But being gone a few days, this is crazy. This garden just took off while I was gone. My grow tower is amazing. You can't even hardly see the tower in there anymore. Mostly those are peppers, some jalapenos, some banana peppers. My chives are just getting buried in here. They're probably not gonna do very well, but you can see how awesome this tower is doing. Some pretty flowers in there. The tomatoes are big and beautiful. I don't see any signs of disease out here, but I do see lots of new tomatoes coming. So while I was gone, the tomatoes really started coming in. They're doing great. That borage is just absolutely stunning. I love it. But we've got some either cucumbers or maybe even my loofah gourds growing here. I'm not sure. They're a little bit mixed up because I added, when I saw the loofah wasn't doing so well, I added a couple of vining plants to fill the space, but I think both of them are growing now. These peppers have gotten much bigger since I left just 5 days ago. They look really great. These tomatoes, these are my competition tomatoes. Man, look at the stems on these. Let's put my hand back there. This stem is just thick and hardy, and I've never grown these big beefsteak tomatoes before, so I don't know if that's really very good or not, but I'm impressed because I've never really grown anything that big before. Lots of flowers on these, so I'm excited to see them come in. I got some beans starting to grow up the trellis here. on this side too. And then this is my butternut squash, looking really good too. I don't see any squash in here yet. Lots of little buds, flowers coming in though. God, those tomatoes are so much fun. Peppers are doing really well. Oh look, an empty spot. I wonder what I could put there. My Swiss chard is coming up. Here's, I think this is rhubarb Swiss chard. And then this is, I don't even know, but looks like it needs to be weeded. These are, oh, right here. Oh, these are, well, that's weird. These are bright light Swiss chard, but there's no color to them almost whatsoever. And these are bright lights Swiss chard, and they're colorful and pretty. So I don't know what happened there. Here are some of my cucumbers. These are at least as tall as me now, so that's fun. The one next to them is that pick a bushel, so they're a semi-bush variety, so they're not going to get much taller than that. See if we got any prizes in here. Oh yeah, this one looks like it's probably too big. These little snacky cucumbers, I've heard that if you don't pick them when they're snack size, that they're gonna get seedy and not good. So I'll come out here and pick those. Might pick a bushel. I'll dig around in there and see what I can find. My borage just going crazy. And look at that, my bean plants on the poles over there. They were not on the poles when I left, hardly at all. Maybe one plant had started to come up the pole, and it was just the tendril. So that's pretty much all growth in the last 5 days while we were gone. So we've got carrots, and we have radishes. There's beets in there, but I think they were drowned out a little bit. And probably a ton of weeds too. So I think I overplanted that spot. Maybe the radishes will be ready and I can come and pull those out. I don't know. Happy to see my marigolds are all flowering in here though. Yeah, I think I made a mistake here. These tomatoes are doing awesome, but they desperately need pruning and support. This kale. I'm gonna actually harvest some of this now and have it for breakfast. I'm just in love with this borage. It's so pretty. Looks like this is some asparagus going to seed. And my dill's coming up nicely too. This is my Sweet Success cucumber. Like I said before, it's really my best producer, but it seems to be sort of prone to some problems. This one, I don't know, this is probably just uneven watering. That's sad. But look at all the damage on this. None of my other plants have this damage. It's all eaten up. I've sprayed it. The leaves are yellowing. One of the plants is climbing really tall up over this trellis. And it's really pretty, and I love how tall it's getting, but there's a lot of damage on these. And I see down here, there's a big old cucumber in there. You can see my hand. I've got an eggplant started, but it looks like something already took a bite out of that. That makes me sad. In my perennial bed, the in the middle here is 2 bleeding heart plants. They've been done for a while, but I see that my astilbe is really pretty here and on that side. These hostas are starting to flower a little bit. Here too, I see the buds coming out. And I see my sedum starting to develop some flowers, and look, these lilies are just gorgeous. And oh my gosh, look, my hollyhocks, they have flowers. Well, that makes me really happy because I really had to tend to those quite a bit. I started them from seed indoors last year, and they bloom the second year. I didn't think they would do well on the back of the house here. This is the south, or this is the north side, so they're not getting any direct sun, but they're flowering. That makes me really happy. Look at that. And there's all sorts of more flowers coming. So this makes me not so sad that my other one died. I can't wait to see those. That's it. That's everything. It actually looks really good. I don't think it needs any water desperately. I thought it would need some right away because we've been gone, but it looks good out there. The plants look great. I'm expecting some rain today and probably tomorrow. And so there's a few things I need to do, and some weeding, some pruning, and some spraying, but nothing urgent. So I'm gonna go in the house and get some work done today. Maybe come back out later this evening or tomorrow. See you later.